Are you ready? Are you ready for the comeback?
Hi everyone, hope you guys are doing great today. Welcome to day 6 of our Living Strong Challenge. And today we are going to look at our habits. We're going to talk about habits. And the challenge is going to be this: auditing your habits. Okay, so now keep in mind that your habits basically are going to let you know what the quality of your life is. So living a strong life is all about striving for excellence in all areas of our life, right? We spoke about those 3 P's, right? The physical, the personal, and the professional aspects of your life, all those areas of your life. And then we spoke about those different dimensions in each of those areas of your life. And we looked at 16 dimensions. There's a lot more, but we looked at 16. We rated them. We got our Living Strong number, and we are moving in a direction where we could set ourselves up for success to live a strong life. Today, we're going to talk about habits and have my notes here for you guys that I put together this morning. So what we're going to go through this, make this as short as possible so we get started on our day. I'm actually doing this earlier today because it's a Saturday and I have to teach master classes rest of the day. That's my intention, and my habit on Saturdays is to get up really early and get all this done for my community, for you guys. Okay, so here we go. So the first of all, there's a quote that Aristotle says that virtues are formed in man by his doing the actions. So the things that we do in the course of our day are the habits and the things that we choose to do. So we have a lot of habits that we do. If you go through your day, you're going to see there's things that you do automatically from the moment you get up. There's a habit there. What do you do when you get up? Going to the restroom, to the bathroom, your eating habits, your personal hygiene habits, your communication habits, your physical habits, personal habits, professional habits. You have all these habits. So what is a habit? Very quickly, I want to encourage you guys to go to a book. There's a book that I highly recommend. There's a lot of books out there, so do your research, look for books, and go deep dive into what habits are. I'm just going to briefly cover them. This is just like not even the tip of it. This is like such a quick look at. Okay, so please do due diligence. Find out more about habits. I highly recommend that. Okay, so what is a habit? So right over here, first of all, the definition of a habit and let's say the what do we call the origin of a habit and the definition. And I looked it up. Like I recommend you guys do. This is what it says here. Okay, it says the word habit is pulled from the Latin words habere. And I'm sure I'm pronouncing that wrong. So it's Habere. That's the Latin word, which means have or consist of. And another word, habitus. Habitus. That's another word, which means condition or state of being. It also is derived from the French word habit. I guess it says pronounced as abi. Abi, that's the French, how they pronounce Habit, abi in French, okay, which means clothing. So I remember when I was a kid, I went to Catholic school, and the nuns at the Catholic school wore what they wore, and they would call that habits. And I remember that old show, I don't know if you guys remember this, The Flying Nun with Sally Field. She would wear this hat that had little wings on the side. She would fly when the wind came, so the French called habit like clothing. So something you put on, and so back in the day, that's what it was called, a habit. So you put it on, and so now, fast forward now, a habit is a routine or behavior that is repeatedly done on a regular basis over and over again. That is something that you do, that you put on, something that you do on a regular basis. So you can see the evolution of that, the origin, and where we are today. And I also looked up, what does psychology say about habit? And the American Journal of Psychology says this. It says define a habit from the standpoint of psychology is a more or less fixed way of thinking, of having this will or feeling acquired through competition of something that you do over and over again. And they also say it's like a mental experience. So anyway, again, go to a deep dive on what a habit is. Something that you do over and over again, right? That's why we call it a habit. And more often than not, it's something that you do without thought, like driving, right? If you're backing up a car, okay, you know, once you get good at it, I know some of our students, you know, just got their license and they're still trying to create these safe habits of driving, looking around, everything. But I've been doing it for many, many decades. So backing up my car, you know, I really don't have to think much of it. I look at it, it's a habit. It's very safe. And so habits are great because habits allow you to allow your mind and body and to do things without thoughts so that you can think of other things. So there's thousands and thousands of habits that you do in the course of the day, like driving, like walking, like getting up, all these things that you're doing, okay? And basically it just helps you, you know, do more stuff and without thought. So habits are great, but there's also habits that you do that are not so good for you. We all have good habits and bad habits, but we know that what habits are things that we do without thought. Okay, so now let's talk about how do we create new habits. Again, I'm keeping this simple, as fast as possible. Do a deep dive. I cannot recommend that enough, to do a deep dive on the power and the science of habits. So anyway, there's 4 stages of habits, and I've taken this from the book called Atomic Habits by James Clear, and I'll have the link right below. Highly recommend you get that book and do a deep dive on habits. Start with that book, okay? I recommend that book highly. There are other books, and this is the one that I recommend first, okay? So there's 4 stages of habits, and here are the 4 stages, okay? And again, I'm going to say this quickly. Do a deep dive on it. First one is like the cue or the trigger. Noticing, okay? That's the first stage. Second stage is that craving or that want. And the third stage is the response, okay? Or the whatever you do, okay? And then there's that reward. The fourth stage is reward, okay? So you have a cue, you notice something, and then it creates a craving or a want, a desire. And then based on what you've noticed and what you've become aware of, and now you have that desire, that want, that craving, and then you do something, you respond to it. Okay, and then once you respond to it, okay, then you get that reward. Okay, you're satiated, you are enjoying the reward, and sometimes it's great, it's good. You get a cue, a good habit. Like for example, for me, for doing this, you know, I created a habit that gives me a cue to do this, to create the study for this. I get up in the morning, my stuff is all set there, and I'm excited. I get up, and then I see the book, I see my notes there, and I'm going to talk about this today. And so now I have a craving. I got to do the research. I want to make sure I bring it to you guys, and in a very exciting way. And I want to be, let's say, almost obsessed with this. And I have this energy, okay. And then I'll do the research, and then I'm doing the research. I'm finding out more. I'm going deep dive. This and oh my gosh, I'm going crazy. I have all this stuff. That's why I say I'm not going to spend so much time on this. That you do the deep dive on it, because there's power in habits. So know the science. And so now my reward is that I'm here, I'm doing it with you, I'm sharing with you, and I'm pumped up and I love it, and this is exciting for me. And when I'm done, I'm going to feel awesome. So you do that with food, you do that with other things, but there's also stuff that are bad habits, right? Something will kill you. Like for example, if you're watching TV, you see those commercials, right? That juicy hamburger, and you know, let's say for example, for me, I want to watch my fat intake, and I watch my cholesterol, I got to watch my blood pressure, you know, and my inflammation. And so when I see a commercial that's presenting a food that I know is bad for me, but it gives me that cue, and then now I want it, I crave it. And so my response may be to go out and get it. Okay, sometimes I'm weak, less often than before, but I will, because of that craving, I get it, I do something about it, I respond to it, and then you know, I get the reward, right? I'm satiated. I get the reward. But sometimes once I get the reward, and I'm satiated, I get that, I feel horrible because, oh my gosh, I gave into it. bad habits, right? So I think you guys know what I'm talking about. And so those are what you do to create a new habit is to basically notice first of all what habit you want to create, and then create the cues, and then this then sets up the craving, all right, or the want, and then you set yourself up to respond, to do what you know you need to do, and then there's that reward. You know what the reward's going to be. So you create those habits. So this is going to be your assignment, okay? And hopefully you guys understand this, because remember, there's power in those habits. And so you have the power of choice. Know that. So you can choose your habits, redefine your habits, and create those new habits. You have bad habits, you have good habits. So your first assignment is this, is that you're going to go through all three P's, right? Your physical, and then you're going to try to list as many good habits and bad habits. No judgment. Also, okay, I have a habit of doing this, I have a habit of doing this. Doesn't matter. You just list it down as best as possible. Don't make it exhaustive. Just go, okay, physical habits. Okay, well, my fitness, what I eat, all that. Okay, just list it down. And then you're going to look at your personal, let's say your relationships. What are your good and bad habits? And then you look at your professional, okay, as whether you own your business or whether you're an employee or an employer, you're going to look at your habits as a professional, okay, and in your profession. So what are the good and what are the bad? You're just going to start auditing that, all that. Okay, no judgment, just as a matter of fact, okay? And then you're going to write that in your journal. And then you're going to, next exercise is you're going to think of a habit that you would like to create. You could pick one of those areas, it's physical, the personal, or the professional, and you can say, okay, I want to create this habit in this area of my life, okay? You decide just one area. You go a little bit more, you can maybe go 3 areas, but I recommend just one of those areas. Pick one habit that you'd like to create. And then what you're going to do, you write that down, and then you're going to fast forward 6 months in your imagination, and you're going to imagine that you failed. You failed to create that habit, okay? And so what you're going to do is you're going to say, okay, I failed, but then now what you're going to do is you're going to write down why you failed, okay? You're going to write down, okay, I failed because of this and that and that and that. This got in the way. I wanted to do this, but this happened. That. So you're going to write down things that happened, things that you did that caused you to fail. And so the power behind that, so now what you're going to do, once you have that, you're going to then create a real-time plan for that goal, for that habit you want to create, knowing that you failed, that in 6 months you failed because of this. So now you're going to create a plan now moving forward, that you're going to create a plan that can counter that sets you up for success. So you'll say to yourself, so if this happens, then I'll do this. Because if you fast forward and you failed because of this, you can say, well, if this happens, I will do this. So you have to create a plan so that you have this if and then plan. If this happens, then I'll do this. If this happens, then I'll do this. So now you'll move forward, setting yourself up for success. Now you have a plan of action, because you know what? Life comes up. If I plan to go to the gym today, and this happened yesterday. Okay, my intention was to train, but I got caught up in my preparation for something I had planned on doing, and so I said to myself, if that happens, then I will do this, and that's what I did. Okay, so this is what happens. When that did happen, then I did this. So I had let's say a plan B. Okay, so create that for you. That's going to be your exercise for today, and then what you're going to do, again, another thing is go deep dive in the science, okay, and the power of habits, okay? Again, start with that book, right? Atomic Habits. Get that book. Link is right below. Get that, okay? And do that. And so remember that living a strong life, really, it's all about the habits that you create, because the quality of your life are based on what you do every single day and your environment. So go deep dive in that. And that's what I have for you guys today. Hope that's helpful. Day 6 done, and I hope you guys are doing great. You're learning stuff, and let me know. Reach out to me. You can reach out to me on social and let me know how you're doing. And other than that, guys, I'll see you tomorrow. Okay? Have a great day. Bye.